Hello, ni hao ma. I'm Brian David Phillips, and today I'd like to talk to you about the relationship finger trick, or the answer to the question of why are wedding rings on the ring finger. Now, if you Google this, you'll find several websites claim that what I'm about to tell you and demonstrate to you is based upon an ancient Chinese story. Now, I've lived in Asia for 2.5 decades now, and I'd never heard this before until I clicked upon a link on a American site that had this story, and I found it in a whole bunch of locations, but I'd never heard it here in Asia among Chinese-speaking peoples before. But it's a really interesting idea, and it's a very beautiful demonstration of the mind using physiological effects to implant suggestions and to reinforce those suggestions psychologically. So let's go. Alright, this is a very beautiful concept, and so it's based upon a hand gesture. Now I'm going to ask you to take your two hands, your own hands, and I want you to place them in a particular way. Okay? Take your middle fingers and bend them down. Both middle fingers, both hands, and put your hands like this. Now, some of you are saying, what is he doing with our hands here? Is he perhaps creating the Venus butterfly? No, the Venus butterfly does not look like this. The Venus butterfly, if you must know, looks like this. And if you don't know what a Venus butterfly is, go to my website, www.briandavidphillips.com, and do a search for, in quotations, Venus butterfly, and there's a video that teaches you how to do it and an audio that you can download as well. But for now, we're not in that part of the realm yet. We're just talking about the relationship. We're not doing any sex hand things. So no Venus butterfly today. Sorry. Take your two hands. Drop the middle fingers, both hands, and then place the hands together so that the middle fingers, all of the fingertips are touching, and the middle fingers stay touching, and then push your hands together so that they're flat as you can with two fingers in a weird position like that. Okay? Now, according to this story, each of the remaining fingers and thumbs, they represent something for you. And so, in a relationship, you have your parents, you have your partner, you have your siblings, and you have your children. Well, your thumbs here, they represent your parents. And you depend upon your parents in your life, and they're very important. But eventually you grow up and you leave your parents. Now the next fingers, your pointy fingers, your index fingers, are your siblings, your brothers and sisters who you're close to as you grow up, and they're important in your life. But eventually you leave them as well. Now down here on the bottom, separate from all this other, those pinky fingers, it represents your children. And your children, at least I hope, are incredibly important to you. I know my child is important to me. But eventually your children grow up, and just as you left your parents, your children leave you. But here's the thing. Those two ring fingers that are together, that represents you and your partner. You and your partner in this important relationship. And you'll notice something interesting when you try to part those fingers. They don't part. If your hand is in the correct positioning, the relationship fingers cannot part. And that's why wedding rings, if you wear one, are placed on the ring fingers. They symbolize in part that wonderful characteristic that the relationship hands, those fingers cannot part. Essentially, when you go into a relationship, either marital or a deeply founded one, emotionally, you're sharing part of yourself. Now, some of you know me as a hypnotist. Hey, look into my eyes, not around my eyes, into my eyes. But some of you know that I do work with relationships, and one of the patterns that I do is called When Two Become One. And it is an intimacy enhancer involving touch and eye contact. And those of you who are hypnotists who remember how to do this, ring fingers go down, place all the fingertips. You can actually use this hand signal, this hand method or maneuver or whatever you wish. This method can be used in trance as a reinforcer for relationships. Those of us who marry, when we marry, we have a ritual that we go through, either a civil one or a non-civil one. Some people's marriages are pretty uncivil from the get-go. But if you have a ceremony, part of that is to speak the vows. And this is a nice way of reinforcing those vows, to let you know that there's a reason why you connect with another person. Now, honestly, you don't have to have a wedding ring. You don't have to place it on the ring finger. You don't have to. It's part of a ritual, though, for many. And those who do, that can be a reminder of the inseparation, the inseparability of two souls that become one, or however you like. Now, obviously, this is a very simplistic concept, and it's obviously based on physiological effect that everyone knows. You know, as a kid, you probably played the game where you go to a younger kid who doesn't know the trick yet, have them pull that middle finger down, place the hand upon here and say, okay, this is 5,000 tons. I can lift it. This is 3,000 tons. You can lift it. Now, that ring finger, that's 1 ounce. How strong are you? And they can't lift it. And that's simply because physiologically, if you bend this finger, which is connected by the muscle groups with the other finger, it becomes very, very difficult to move it. Some people cheat, of course, and they don't have the middle finger all the way, so they can move that ring finger, okay? And if you are able to move your ring finger, so if you put your hands in the position I showed you, if you can move this sucker, then you don't have your ring fingers close enough and you don't have it tight enough. Essentially, you're doing it wrong or you're cheating. Just as if in a relationship you find it's very easy to leave your partner and go off and do shit without them, you're cheating. Either way, that's your own damn business. None of my business, but I just wanted to share that today because I think it's a cute little thing. It's the relationship hand trick, and play with it. Until next time, this is Brian David Phillips saying, live trance and prosper. 再见. Bye-bye.